Hello everyone, welcome to Assunta Hospital live Facebook talk. Today we're going to touch base on Eat Well, Live Well. I am Simran, I'm attached to Health Clinic Unit, will be your moderator for the day. Now let me introduce to you our speaker for the day, a very young and sweet dietitian, Miss Tracy Cheng. Tracy is a graduate from University Sultan Zainal Abidin Terengganu. She is also a member of Malaysian Dietitians Association. And before joining Assunta Hospital, Tracy worked with University Malaya Medical Center, providing enteral and parenteral diet counseling for critically ill patients. Besides that, Tracy is also very active in community health talk, doing her part to the community, and she's very passionate about food. Now, audience, I'm sure you have a lot of questions for us. Do ask us at the end of the talk, and you can also drop it in the Google comment box below. And let's welcome Miss Tracy. Hello, Tracy. How are we today?
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Simran. I'm fine. Thank you for your kind introductions. Hello, everyone. I am Miss Cheng, dietitian from Assunta Hospital. Today, I will talk about Eat Well, Live Well. Now, we would have roughly around 15 to 16 people with us, and I hope more and more people can join us. So let's start now. As we all know, unhealthy lifestyle and diet can cause chronic diseases like high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, and also cancer. So as compared to other risk factors, dietary risk is the main contributor to most of the diseases in 2015. So we get the latest updates from National Health and Morbidity Survey and HMS last year in 2019, which found that 50.1% of Malaysians adults were either overweight or obese, which means 1 in 2 adults in Malaysia are overweight or obese. So the graph shows the prevalence of overweight and obesity among young Malaysians. As we can see, both categories keeps on increasing. So are we still wanted this data to be continue picking up? Definitely a no. So it's time for us to self-examine whether our current body weight is good enough. Body mass index BMI is a general indicator for us to check whether our current body weight is suitable with our height or not. Because we can't do much to change our height, and what we can alter is our body weight. So we can do some simple calculations by dividing your weight in kg by height in meter square. So if your BMI falls between the range of 18.5 to 24.9, congratulations, your current body weight is pretty good. But we need to ensure the proper body composition with more muscle and less fat. So next, we move on to the prevalence of diabetes among young Malaysians. So from 2015 to 2019, we can see a significant increase of 5%. So which means 1 in 5 people among young Malaysians has diabetes, with the total percentage of 18.3%. So I guess it's time for us to do some lifestyle and dietary modifications. So here I would like to introduce an easy-to-use food guide, the Malaysian's Healthy Plate, with the concept of quarter half. So in order to help all the Malaysians to make a healthier food choices with proper and adequate portions. So I will go through the 7 key messages in order to achieve a great plate. First of all, balance your calorie intake to achieve or maintain a healthy body weight. The calorie requirement for everyone is varied with the age, gender, body size, and also physical activity. So we have to understand the energy balance concept. Energy means calories. Calorie intake is basically from what we eat, like carbohydrate, protein, and fats. Whereas we will burn the calorie during exercise, resting metabolic rate is the energy burned during resting time for breathing, blood circulation, organ functions. And last but not least is the thermal effect of food, is the energy required for digestion, absorption, and disposal of ingested nutrients. So if our calorie intake is equals to our calorie use, our current body weight will be maintained. If the positive energy balance, which means the calorie intake is far more than the calorie burnt by our body, this may result in gaining of the body weight. On the other hand, if your calorie intake is less than the calories that is burned by our body, so the negative energy balance will be achieved and your body weight will be reduced. So for those who want to lose weight, remember to aim for the negative energy balance. So the table shows an easy approach way for us to roughly estimate your calorie requirements. So there is an example here. If you are 60 kg with a normal BMI and inactive or sedentary lifestyle, we can use the current body weight 60 kg multiplied by 30 calorie per kg body weight. So your estimated calorie intake should be 1,800 calories per day. So for those who want to lose weight, you cannot eat more than this. Your calorie in requirements 1,800 calories. So we can easily control our calories intake by controlling the portion size with the following tips. Stop eating when you feel satisfied is not until 100% full. Use a smaller plate. Eat slowly and really enjoy the food bite by bite. So next, we move on to the second key message. Make half of your grains whole. So moving from now, I will start to use the Malaysian healthy plate for my explanation. So fill the first quarter of the plate with the grains. But we do have two types of the grains, which are the refined grains and whole grains. But why I just mentioned about the whole grains? Because whole grains has its bran and germ intact with lots of the essentials, vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, but refined grains don't have. During refining process, the bran and germs are totally removed. So just remaining the endosperm, which contains mainly the carbohydrates, perhaps some protein, and a very small amount of the vitamins and minerals. So we can incorporate the whole grains into our diet by taking the wholemeal bread, brown rice, oats, and also oats crackle. So just now we already filled the first quarter with the grains. So another quarter, we need to fill with the protein. And remember to go for the lean protein. Remove the skin or the fat layer from the meat and poultry before consuming, and eat more fish because it is a source of the white meat and rich in omega-3 fatty acids. And don't forget to opt for the healthier cooking methods such as grill, roast, bake, boil, and instead of the frying. Okay, so how much is the protein that we need to take in order to fulfill the quarter of the plate or one serving of the protein? It's roughly around 1 palm size. Can you all see? Around 1 palm. So this one will be one serving of the protein. So the table shows the rest of the protein-rich food sources with the amount in order to achieve the one serving. So you all can refer to this table as your reference. So next, just now we already fulfill our half of the plate with our grains and the protein. So the remaining half of the plate will be the fruits and vegetables. So this one will be our fourth key message. The fruits and the vegetables are naturally low in calories and they are important source of nutrients. So remember to choose for the fresh one instead of the pickles, fruits or vegetable or with additional sources because this may result in extra calorie or salt intake. Okay, so each of these counts as the one serving of fruits and vegetables. So for the cooked green leafy vegetable, we can just go for the half cup and 1 cup for the raw vegetables. What about the fruits? So like orange or apple, we can go for 1 if let's say it's medium in size, and just go for half if the fruits is really big, like guava, mango, or dragon fruits. Remember to take at least 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruits every day to ensure that we are getting enough of the vitamins, minerals, and also fibers to boost our immunity and prevent constipation. So, all right, we have complete our Malaysian healthy plate. So now we move on to the 5th key message, boost our calcium intake. So remember to choose the skim or low-fat milk, yogurt, and cheese because they are high in calcium, which can help to strengthen bone, teeth, and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. If you are lactose intolerant, you may try lactose-free milk or fortified soy milk. Alright, the recommended intake of the calcium is 800 to 1000 milligram per day. So if you are not tolerating well with the daily products, you can still choose other type of the food sources that are also high in calcium, like sardine or green leafy vegetables. So next, we move on to the 6th key message, cut down on the food high in fat, sugar, and salt. In general, high fat and sugar foods contains more calories and mostly are empty calories, which means the food are very high in calories but with few or no important nutrients. So if let's say the intake of a small amount of empty calories is still considered fine, but most of the people eat far more than the expected. So I will go through the fat, sugar, and salt one by one. So we will go to the fat first. There are a few types of the fat that is available in our diet. So one of it is the saturated fat. So the saturated fat will increase the bad cholesterol and total cholesterol in our blood. So our main objective is to identify the food sources and try to avoid them from our usual diet, like coconut oil, coconut milk, butter, the skin and the fat layer of the meat, as well as the full cream milk. Right. So the next type of the fat is the trans fatty acid. Trans fatty acid is the worst type of the fat that we should totally avoid from our usual diet because it will increase the risk of the heart disease even more than saturated fats. And it is produced mainly by the hydrogenations and presence in the baked products, pastry, instant noodles, fried, or even the processed food. Okay, so next is about the unsaturated fatty acid. It comprises of polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. So these types of the fat will help to lower down the total cholesterol when we replace for the saturated fatty acid. The common food sources with the unsaturated fats are like plant-based oil, sunflower or canola oil, nuts and seeds, as well as the deep sea fish like sardine, salmon, or mackerels, which are also high in omega-3 fatty acids, which can help to promote the cardiovascular health and prevent the cardiac disease. For your information, our body is unable to produce the omega-3 fatty acid, and thus we must be obtained from our diet. The recommended intake of the omega-3 fatty acid is from 2 to 3 servings of the oily fish every week. Okay, so there is a question here. Can we enjoy the unsaturated fatty acid as much as we like? My answer is no. we still have to limit the intake for all types of the fat, no matter is the saturated or unsaturated fat. Because too much of the fat intake can still contribute to high calorie intake and eventually cause your body weight gain. So what we can do is replace the saturated fat with unsaturated fats in our usual diet. So for those who like to eat outside, remember to decode the menu before you order any food. So try to choose for the food that are steamed, poached, boiled, stir-fried, grilled, or roasted, and try to avoid the food that are deep-fried, crusted, crispy, buttered, or cream because they are naturally high in fat. So if let's say you go to order an egg, you wish to eat the egg, so better you can order steamed egg, okay, instead of the fried egg, okay. So let's say today you wish to eat a bowl of curry mee for your breakfast. So if you finish it, you already take in 700 calories and 49 grams of fat. But if you replace with the miso, you successfully cut down the calories into half and reduce the fat percentage of 71%. And if let's say during the lunch you wish to eat the roti canai, so if you finish one piece of the roti canai, you are taking 740 calories and 9 grams of fat. But if you switch to the dosai, you are taking in just 260 calories. Maybe you can't see a significant decrease of the calories, but can you see that the fat reduced from 9 grams to 3 grams? All right. So if you eat with a glass of the teh tarik, and you already take in 177 calories and 3 grams of the fat. But if you change to the teh o, you successfully reduce the fat of 100%. So remember, everyone can be the manager of your own diet and nutrition. It's just remember to make wiser food choices. So next, we move on to limit the intake of the simple sugar. So there are a few tips for us to avoid the simple sugar as much as possible from our diet, like drink water instead of the sugary drinks. If you are craving for the fruit-flavored drinks or cordials, then better you choose the 100% fruit juice or freshly extracted fruit juice. All right, and then try to reduce the frequency of the sugary dessert like ice cream, chocolate, or cake, and better you replace with the fresh fruits. Okay, and last but not least is try to go for the smaller portion if you really want to take the sweet stuff. Like instead of the 3 scoop of the ice cream, you just go for 1 scoop. So at least you can still enjoy the ice cream. So these are the common drinks that are available at the mama store, as we can see anyway. So if you ordered a glass of the teh ice or teh o limau ice, you already take in 6 teaspoons of the sugar. So the World Health Organization, WHO, and Malaysia's dietary guidelines both actually recommend that the sugar intake should not exceed 5 to 10 teaspoons a day. For your information, 1 teaspoon of the sugar is about 5 grams. Unfortunately, in average, Malaysians are taking about 11 teaspoons of the sugars every day. So that is why probably that caused the total number of the diabetes in Malaysia keeps on increasing. So it's very important for us to go through the food label so that we know how much of the sugar we are taking in, and we can compare between the 2 similar food products and choose the one with lower sugar content. So I will go through one example with you all how to interpret the nutrition information of food labels. So maybe we just pick up the first one, pineapple juice. So as we can see from the screen here, the serving size is 325 ml, which is 1 can of the juice. So we can see the total sugar per 100 ml is 11 gram, but per serving, which is 1 can of the pineapple juice, is already 35.8 gram of the sugar, which is equivalent to 7 teaspoons of the sugars. Okay, so remember to go through your food labels, all right, so that we can try to restrict our sugar intake to between 5 to 10 teaspoons. So next is limit sodium intake. Sodium is a kind of the minerals that is found in the salt. The recommended sodium intake is less than or equal to 2000 milligram per day, or is equivalent to 1 teaspoon of the salt. So don't forget to avoid the highly processed food or preserved food because it has a very high content of the salt, and avoiding using too much of the salt, and try to flavoring your food with the natural herbs and spices like garlic, onion, or lemongrass. And once again, please go through the food labels and opt for the products with lower sodium content. Okay, so our last key message is be physically active to achieve a healthy weight, prevent further weight gains, and also relieve our stress. The recommended durations of the exercise is at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity every week. Like you can go for jogging, swimming, or cycling. And if possible, you can top up with the muscle strengthening activities for at least 2 days every week, like sprinting or weightlifting. Okay, so for those who want to start the exercise or just completed a surgery, you can just pick up any light intensity activity that you like, start it slowly and slowly increase gradually until you achieve the recommendation periods. So let's say how to achieve the 150 minutes of the moderate intensity exercise. You can just go for 30 minutes of the jogging every day. So from Monday to Friday, already 5 days. So you already achieved the 150 minutes. All right. So as I mentioned earlier about the energy balance concept, we need to use up the calories that we take in to prevent the weight gain. So if let's say you finish a plate of the char kway teow is roughly around 700 calories, then you have to walk for 2 hours to burn it off. And if you finish a normal nasi lemak is roughly around 400 calories, then you have to swim for 1.5 hours to burn them off. So if you are not able to do such a long time of the physical activity, then better we control the portions of the food and also make the healthier food choices with the food that less oily. So last but not least, to not over-consume the alcohol. Moderate intake of alcohol means 2 units per day for men and 1 unit per day for women. So 1 unit refers to 12 ounces of beer, 4 ounces of wine, or 1 ounce of hard liquor. So remember, please take note that alcohol provides excess calories, and our body will turn them into a form of the fats, which is called triglycerides. Okay, and those who are diabetic, alcohol without food can actually cause the low sugar level, which is called as the hypoglycemia. Okay, so therefore it's better for us to avoid all the alcoholic beverages. Okay, so in conclusions, it's time for us to make investments on our own health by just practicing these 7 simple key messages. So perhaps you can't see an immediate effect, but trust me, you will get a long-term benefit because nutrition is far more responsible for creating your shape and your health than you ever could have imagined. All right, so that's all for my talk today. Thank you for your attention. Now I would like to pass back the screen to Ms. Simran for Q&A sessions.
Thank you, Tracy, for simplifying it. Now that really, I really like your 7-step for a very good lifestyle. And obesity is nothing new in Malaysia,
Yes.
and in the world for that matter, you know. And many Malaysians were complaining about weight gain during this MCO
Yes.
period.
I did receive quite a numbers of the complaints about this,
Mm,
even though I'm also gaining the weight.
which is not a surprise because
Yes.
they've been homebound, you know, and less activities.
Mm.
And audience, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I can see all lined up here. And before we proceed, I would like to pick up two from the Google form. Here we go, Tracy. Does caffeine affect my heart?
Okay, so whether high caffeine intake can really increase the risk of the heart disease is actually still under study, but moderate intake of the caffeines can actually like 2 to 3 glasses of the coffee doesn't seem to be harmful. So the coffee here I mean is the black coffee with less sugars and without creamers. Actually everyone we can just DIY our own coffee 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 coffee by just replacing the creamer with the low-fat or skim milk.
Right? Can you imagine life without coffee? Okay.
For the coffee lover, so the coffee is really a vital thing for them.
It's a quick start for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the second one here. How to have a balanced diet for busy people and who doesn't have time to cook? And does meal replacement really help, or is just a superfood?
Okay, it's quite long
Yes.
questions. Okay, thank you for the question. So I will divide these questions into 2 parts to answer. So the first part is about how to have a balanced diet for the busy people who have no time for the home cooked foods. So actually eating outside, you can still have a balanced and wholesome diet. Okay, by just practicing what I mentioned earlier, the Malaysian's healthy plate with the concept of quarter half. So I will use this one for my explanations. So for example, let's say you go to the economic rice shops, so you can choose whatever food that you like. So we can go for one small bowl of the rice to fulfill the first quarter of the plate, and then one portion of the protein to fulfill another quarter here. So the remaining half we need to fulfill with the vegetables. So it would be even better if you are able to take one packet of the fruits from there. But if you can't find the fruits, then you have to go to the market and buy it and just spend a few minutes to cut it and consume. Is it simple?
Very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
So, or if let's say you go to a hawker center, you wish to order a bowl of meal, you can always add on with extra vegetables or some protein to fulfill your nutrition needs. So the second part of the questions is about, does meal replacement provide enough nutrition? Okay, so yes, definitely it will provide us with the nutrition. Otherwise, they won't be survived until today and mushrooming around the world. So, but please be mind that meal replacement is not necessary for everyone. So it's better and advisable to take the meal replacements under the supervision of the healthcare professionals. So because you are not sure whether you are suitable with that kind of respective meal replacement products. Okay, and then I just want to clarify, actually no food can be claimed as the superfood. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them are confused with between superfood and meal replacement. Yeah. Now let's move on to more questions. Now let me read it to you. Right, first one here. I'm drinking milk daily, but do I need any further calcium supplement?
Okay, thank you for the questions. As we all know, milk is a very good source of the calciums. So if you are just a normal people without any health complications that require extra calciums, 2 glasses of the milk with some other food sources of the calcium-rich food is actually more than enough for you to achieve the recommendations of the calcium intake without any supplementations. All right. So the better doesn't mean the more doesn't mean the better. So it's always we need to remember if we take too much of the calcium, it can cause the formation of the kidney stones and also cause the hardening of the blood vessels.
Right, right. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one now. Okay, the only heart-friendly alcohol is red wine. And can I drink red wine 5 glasses when I hang out with friends and just once a week?
Okay, very interesting questions. So it's pretty true that the red wine, light red wine, can help for the blood circulations because it will help to expand our blood vessels. Okay, but more studies are needed in order to prove whether red wine is the only types of the alcohol that can reduce or improve the blood circulations, all right, as compared to other alcoholic beverages. And as I mentioned earlier about the recommended intake of the alcoholic beverages, like 2 units for men and 1 unit for women per day, the recommendations is refers to the amount consumed on a single day. And it's not intended as an average over several days or a week. So this one cannot. We have to still stick to a single day, 2 units per day for men and 1 unit for women.
Yes, you can still go out and have other drinks.
Yes,
Water?
exactly.
All right, let's move on. Is fat and sugar the cause of fatty liver?
Okay, yes, definitely, because the fat, if you take too much of the fat, it will be stored inside our body. And if, let's say, if you take too much of the sugar, the excessive sugar that is not burned by our body will also be converted into the fat, like I mentioned earlier, the triglyceride. So all these types of the fat is the one that will causing the fatty liver because it will accumulate around our livers and then cause our liver very difficult to function.
That's a bit tricky here. Now, one more before we wrap up here. Are you recommended exercise for those? Do you recommend exercise for those with heart disease?
Okay, perhaps you can go and view back our first Facebook Live session brought to you by Dr. Nicholas. We did mention about this exercise in the sessions. Okay, so in general, nearly all the heart disease patients can be benefits from the exercise because exercise can increase our muscle efficiencies.
True.
Okay, so when to improve our body's muscles to extract the oxygens from the blood, okay, and also pump the blood throughout our body. So the key to safety is to start the exercise slowly and then pick for the one is light intensity exercise and then you can slowly increase until you achieve the recommendations of 30 minutes every day.
Right, yeah. 3 times a week?
5 times a week at least if let's say you just go for 30 minutes every day.
Yes.
Unless you are able to spend 1 hour every day, so probably 2 to 3 days already more than enough.
Yes, a simple walk will do.
Yes.
Simple walk. Well, audience, that's all we have for the day, and we will continue answering all your questions. And Tracy, thank you so much for your expertise, and thank you all for joining us today. And if you like what we do, and you are passionate about life, please press the like button below and eat well, live well from all of us here in Assunta Hospital. We'll meet you again next time, and till then, bye-bye.
Okay, see you all again. Bye.